He wasn't looking for trouble. He was trying to do the right thing. In a single moment, he went from hero to suspect, from lifesaver to criminal. A child's life was pulled back from the edge, but instead of gratitude, all eyes turned on him. His skin became his sentence, his courage twisted into guilt. What happens when doing good isn't enough to protect you? And what does it tell us about the world we're in? This is the narrative they didn't want to hear. Darnell had always been the kind of guy people would forget. He put in long hours as a custodian in a downtown office, sneaking in and out of the building when everyone else was gone. To others, he was invisible, the unobtrusive figure with the cart, sweeping up trash, cleaning up the mess of the day. But to the people he knew, Darnell was rock steady, the kind of man who never said much and always arrived on time. His was no glamorous existence, but it was an honest one. Every paycheck was used to care for his mother and younger sister. He bore himself with reserve, never seeking anything more than the opportunity to work, to live, to be left alone. Routine was safety for Darnell. Each evening unfolded in the same pattern: sweep, mop, lock up, and walk home beneath the city's harsh lights. But under that beat was something darker. He had learned to do it young. People didn't always look at him. They looked at his skin first. He felt the stares, saw doors sometimes jam when he approached, sensed the mistrust that clung to him like a shadow. He swallowed it every day thinking that if he kept his head down, stayed out of trouble, life would just go on. But life had other plans. On an ordinary night, in that same office he'd cleaned for years, Darnell's routine would shatter, and the world would see him not as a man, not as a hero, but as something else entirely. The evening that had occurred started like any other. Darnell was completing the top floor, his cart creaking gently as he scooped up the final of the garbage. The office was close to quiet, only the hum of the air conditioning and the distant hum of city lights through the windows. He enjoyed these peaceful times, the stillness after a hectic day, but stillness never lasts. At the end of the hall, a noise broke the silence, a cry, a child's cry, panic-stricken, shrill, ringing through the deserted building. Darnell was frozen. He knew the boss's son was sometimes around in the evenings, but this time of night, his gut instinct warned him something was amiss. Not thinking twice, he pursued the sound. What he witnessed brought his heart to a halt. The boy had strayed too close to a pile of heavy machinery that had been left haphazardly adjacent to the service elevator. In a split second, it moved, toppling forward. Darnell let go of his cart and duffed. His arms enveloped the child, pulling him back as the crash boomed against the floor. Dust exploded into the air, metal clanged, and the boy wept in his arms. Darnell had saved his life, but the timing could not have been worse. The disturbance attracted others, the boss, some of the late-working employees, and within a matter of seconds, the room was filled with gasps. And what did they behold? A black janitor holding a crying white child next to a wreckage of twisted metal. The face of the boss contorted with anger. "What are you doing to my son?" he yelled, charging forward. His words stung more than the sound of the crash. Nobody witnessed the instant of rescue. Only the afterimage, a portrait executed against Darnell. Darnell attempted to tell them, but his words fumbled beneath the burden of accusation. He was going to, but his words were lost in the screams of the boy. Terror and rage escalated in the room like flames. The story had already changed. He wasn't a hero. He was the danger. Security was summoned. Darnell shook in his hands as the guards advanced, suspicion written across their faces before a single word was uttered. They never did ask what occurred. They merely asked, "Why did you have the child in your hand?" Every second weighed more, suffocating him on his chest. Darnell scanned the room with pleading eyes, yearning for someone to confess, to admit they witnessed what he did. Silence hung like a judgment. Folks avoided his sight, making overheard whispers behind hidden hands, allowing false assumptions to render a louder voice than truth. Within, fear fought with fury. He had rescued a life. Wasn't that sufficient? Or had he always understood that for him, sufficient would never suffice? And then there was the moment that would cement it. The boss, face flushed and shaking, wheeled around on security and spoke the words Darnell had dreaded his whole life. "Get him out of here. He tried to hurt my boy." The guards approached. Darnell's chest constricted, breath stuck. He longed to scream, to yell his truth, but the air seemed to belong to another person. All eyes in the room locked on him. Not with thankfulness, not with thanks, but with judgment. And at that moment, one question pierced his frantic mind. How do you prove your innocence when the world has already condemned you? The guard's grip was coarse, their hands locking around Darnell's arms as if he posed a threat. His denial spilled out. I saved him. I pulled him back, but were drowned out by the power of accusation. The boss spoke above the din, louder than truth itself. He tried to hurt my son. Each word was a knife. The boy's thin, shivering body could have testified for him, but terror locked the child's mouth. Darnell's heart racing. He was pulled into the lobby, the whispers at his heels. Thief. Assaulter. Criminal. The words stacked up, piling him under lies. Blinding lights illuminated the glass doors. Police, already called. For an instant, Darnell's knees almost buckled. He had witnessed this scenario before, enacted on the news. Names varying, but the result always the same. Innocence counted for nothing. Skin color dictated the tale before fact could catch its breath. The officers intervened, hands resting close to their belts. Sir, keep your hands where we can see them. Theirs wasn't a question, it was threat disguised in formality. Darnell's chest felt like it could suffocate him. He slowly raised his hands, each action deliberate, aware that one misplaced twitch would redefine his life for all eternity. Within, anger flared more fiercely than terror. He had fought with all he had to live with honor, to operate according to rules that never guarded him. And now, in the time when he could have been welcomed as a hero, he was on the precipice of being another statistic. The quiet in the room became thick, oppressive. And then, on an almost drowned-out whisper, a staff member finally spoke. I witnessed him save the boy. The words lingered in the air, delicate but volatile. Would it be enough to break through the bias? Or would truth be overwhelmed yet again by the stronger voice of authority? The statement of that one employee changed the atmosphere. For the first time, uncertainty pierced the wall of suspicion. Others paused, then grudgingly, more of them came after. The whispers that they had witnessed the boy trip beside the machinery, that Darnell had caught up to him just in time. The wave of truth started to build, but the harm was already established. The police dropped their hands, but suspicion remained in their eyes. The boss, face reddened and speechless now, still wouldn't apologize. And Darnell? He was stuck in the middle of it all, spent, embarrassed, broken beyond words. He had saved a child's life, yet left with a badge of shame from the burden of assumptions that almost destroyed him. That evening, sitting by himself, the truth set in. Innocence hadn't saved him. Good acts hadn't protected him. His complexion had determined his tale long before he could tell it. And yet in this case, the truth managed to escape. But he knew there were thousands more who weren't as lucky. Too many names already 6 feet deep beneath silence. Their tales distorted by lies. Their lives lost short of anyone ever being able to say, I saw him safe. Darnell's life went on, but nothing remained the same. Every shadow seemed heavier, every look sharper. But in that anguish was a question that would not remain still. How many more will weep before the world is really changed? Because this wasn't his tale alone. It's a tale told over streets, offices, schools, and neighborhoods. It's a testament to the fact that racism doesn't necessarily present itself wrapped in brutality. It masquerades as suspicion, silence, the inclination to think the worst of